5-star caliber matches almost everywhere he went, just getting this build, this name, and then him and Destiny, that was just a match made in heaven. It was the right guy at the right time for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so special. And for us, it was great because we were able to sit down with him candidly 2 hours before that fight with Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
We only got 20 minutes. We're going to be playing that at the tail end of the episode.
Yeah,
and
I
won't
get to hear this, so you're going to get to hear exactly what George was just talking about, so be prepared for an amazingly, not so much, it wasn't exactly super emotional, but at the same time, you totally get the vibe of just how unbelievably difficult. Because Josh now, he's in his headspace where he's at now, so it was very easy for him to talk about it. But at the exact same time, you could feel every single bit of those feelings of him talking about really, like, when you get a chance to listen to this guy talk about the letter, I really hope you guys enjoy the crap out of every bit of that story, because it's one for the ages.
Yeah, we talked about the letter. We talked about the candidness of, where he got to start, his roots, the fact that he was, a little bit of bullying took place when he was younger because he wasn't, the chiseled, star figure that he is now, right? But he worked for it, he strived for it, and that he truly is a Cinderella story, because this is a guy who you were never sure what was going to happen, and not only did it happen, but now it happened even bigger because we were the first, and I will put a stamp on that. We were the first to break the news this past weekend that after the amazing event, The Ritual, which happened on Fight TV, it's still available on Fight TV. You can go back and check out the replay, check it out. It's an incredible pay-per-view. Blackcraft and Destiny did so amazing putting everything together. All the matches were stellar. I caught they put tattoo needles in Channing Decker's head, flew out of his head. I caught one. I have it here. We took a picture. It's on our socials. So, honestly and truly, it was one hell of a epic pay-per-view that culminated in just an epic match. And at the end of this epic match between Josh Alexander and Simon Grimm for the Destiny title, off the air, Scott D'Amore, who's a VP for Impact Wrestling, came out and he offered Josh Alexander a 3-year contract deal on the spot, which Josh has obviously graciously accepted. We tweeted that out. The clip's still on our Twitter feed at _Straight Talks. You can go back and see the video. It's only about 17 minutes, but if you want to see the full video, it's on our Facebook page. But he went out, offered him a contract, and now Josh is not only representing Destiny, but he's representing Canada on Impact, which is absolutely huge. And I can't wait to see, you're talking about it right now. I'm just getting chills, man. Think about it. The walking weapon, Josh Alexander, versus Johnny Impact for the Impact Heavyweight Championship. Sign me up. Shut up and take my money. I'm there. I cannot wait to see those two go at it, because Josh is a ground and pounder and a dissector, almost a cerebral assassin, if you will, much like Triple H, the way he dissects the ring. Whereas, Johnny Mundo has the high flying ability. Josh doesn't go to the top much, but Josh has speed, just like Johnny does. Yeah. So that's a match that if Destiny's or if Impact's smart, they're already working on the logistics of how to set this build for this collision course that would just be epic to see. And I'm not saying that I want to see the title get taken away from Johnny right away, but the promo packages, the stories that these two guys would tell, shut up and take my money. Seriously. It's incredible. And just everything about that event and just everything about what Destiny does, you got to think about it. Like, the Don Koloff Arena is such an intimate venue. Fit 300-400 people in there on a given night. That night, they had 500 plus people in that building. Some people bought tickets for standing room. And you got to really see what a well-organized, well-promoted, well-run indie company looks like. And that's what the Iceman and his staff do on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. You can't stop and have 2 minutes with George at one of his events, because he's literally all over the place. By the end of the night, he's sweating more than the wrestlers. Because he's running everywhere and making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And yes, he does have some high celebrity caliber coming to Canada. He's bringing big names here, which is amazing, because we have such a well-kept secret here that unless you come here to fight or you come here to watch the shows, you don't know about how we do it here in Canada. But how we do it is the way Destiny does it. And any other promotion that listens to us, any other wrestlers from any promotion, trust us when we say this, because we know about the business. We know, we're not in it. We don't wrestle. But we know enough about it from the research that we've done, from running this show from a year and a half, from the contacts that we've made, from how we've hustled to get where we are, and who we've interviewed in such a short span of time. Yeah. We know how to handle this business, and we know how to look at this from a business perspective. Sometimes we mark out. I still believe I'm right about the Revival, and I'll never admit I'm wrong. But sometimes we mark out, but sometimes we dissect it and look at it from the business perspective. And the way George runs the company, the way he flagships that company, the way he puts the right guys in place, the way he pushes the right guys, George has a great wrestling mind. George has, and that comes from his promotional background, but he really has a fantastic wrestling mind. And I don't have no bones to say about it. And I'm not kissing his ass. I don't need to kiss his ass. He already knows all this. I'm just trying to educate anyone else that takes the time to listen to us about what Destiny's really about. And now that they're on Fight TV, they've got 2 pay-per-views under their belt, and both were amazing. Mm-hmm. Both from beginning match to end match. Both cards were epic.
Yeah.
There was not a slow spot in either of those pay-per-views. And the fact that they're on Fight TV and as affordable as they are, if you're not watching them, you're living under a rock. And that's the honest truth of the matter. The honest truth of the matter is that Destiny knows how to handle its business. And it handles its business very well. And then at the end of the night, when they're all said and done, they're all exhausted, they all go to Zets and they pig out like champions. Which they all should have the freaking right to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I know about this because a friend of ours called George at 2 in the morning to tell him yo man, all the guys from Destiny, they're here in Zets right now. They're eating here. It's crazy, man. So yeah, we guys, that's how we knew that you guys were at Zets after you were done.
Well, if you watch the Scott D'Amore clip, he actually says that at the end. He goes, I don't come to Destiny shows for George to just buy me Zets. So, it's just a thing that they do. But the fact is that he knows how to handle the business. I mean, he's got such an epic talent and ring announcer in Alicia Altoot. She comes out as a special guest ring announcer. He's got, Scott D'Amore. He's got Santino Marella on his broadcast team. He's got everything just in the right positions in the right places to make it, a success. To make it what it is. And what Destiny is a very well-run professional promotion. And we're gracious enough to be acknowledged by George and to be given all the free reign that we've had.
Yeah,
we've really had a lot of free reign. He's told us on multiple occasions that we're part of the family, and that flatters us. That flatters me because for being this in a year and a half, and people understanding and respecting how much we love and appreciate this business, and how much we ourselves are trying to educate and spread the word about what we have here in Canada. And what we have here in Canada is some ridiculously top-notch talent. And I can't wait for Josh to make his debut on Impact. Because I know when he makes his debut on Impact, everyone's going to finally wake up and see what the hell we've been talking about for the last 6 goddamn months.
And it's really going to give people a reason to actually... Because quite frankly, it's Impact is okay, but it has a lot of duds. It has a lot of holes, if you will, of quite frankly... some people that should be going back to the Indies that should not be there. I don't care to name any names because it is what it is.
No, we're not here to call out Impact. We're not here to knock their product.
I'm not here to knock the product.
But I see what you're saying.
I'm making the only thing I'm saying. They need more Josh Alexanders. They need more hard workers. They need more guys that are going to go in there. They're going to go kick their own ass out of our expense, literally, to just give you the greatest show in the world. Whatever we're looking at of how hard they're kicking their ass, they're getting their ass kicked way more internally in their own mind. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm really looking forward to is for the fact of that is going to be aside from Johnny Mundo, because Johnny Mundo is great, and then also at the exact same time he needs a very worthy adversary. And Moose Nation's a great adversary. There's only a couple of adversaries. They're worthy adversaries that could actually make that for the top tier and hold the belt and actually make it really convincing and run the company. Help people really tune in, and I feel like Josh is going to be that guy to really help tune people in, or the fact of whatever kind of punishment and everything that people see going on in NXT and in New Japan, and the realism of what those guys are really bringing to the table to really just that split second of, even if you're a guy that knows that business really, really well, you're still wondering in your mind of how real that was, because it looked, everything about what they're doing and the little nuances. Josh Alexander carries every single bit of that, and I feel like that's going to be the difference maker of really what's going to draw a lot more people. What they lost with Woken Matt Hardy when the wokenness went away from Impact, I feel like that's all going to come back when obviously in a completely different way because they're two completely different characters. But the fact that a lot more, I feel like Josh is going to be that guy that's going to come in and he's going to bring a lot of viewership to a lot more viewership to Impact all over again.
And you know what? If it wasn't for the hardworking ability of Josh and the fact that the inspiring fans that he has behind him, bromances like myself. And his wife, his sons, he goes out there and he works his ass off for his kids every day. And now he's finally got this contract. And a lot of people out there are super excited to see it. But there are those few that are the naysayers. Yeah. Like when we broke the news on Twitter on very late Saturday night going into Sunday morning, we got a lot of positive tweets right off the bat. Over 400 likes, 120 retweets, 25,000 views on the video clip. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's huge numbers. But a lot of the comments were very well received. Congratulations, can't wait. A lot of them were ignorant fans who didn't take the time to research who he was. Just retweeted it and were like, I don't know who he is, but I'll watch it. I'll keep an eye out for it. It's cool. You know what? Do your research. Take the time while you're sitting on the toilet and Google. We all have our phones in the bathroom. It's no secret. Google who the hell he is. And when you see his numbers, you see his stats, you see what he brings to the table.
When you watch his matches.
Go back and pay the phenomenal price that they have on Fight TV right now for these pay-per-views. And check him out. Check out what he brings to the table. Because what he brings to the table is literally everything we always preach about. He brings mic skills. He brings in-ring skills. He brings swagger, toughness, grit, style, heart. Everything and above, Josh Alexander is 150% the total fucking package.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who haven't seen the match, but I'm just going to have to go ahead and kind of give you some incentive if you haven't seen it, and for those of you who are listening who actually don't know who Josh, even though we've been talking about it, who still don't know who Josh Alexander really truly is. Go back and watch Pete Dunne versus Josh Alexander and watch the end of the match when they're telling this incredible story of nobody's ever kicked out of the bitter end before. When Pete Dunne's finish is about as held close to the chest as much as Roman Reigns' spear is. So as far as I'm concerned, the bitter end. No, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying it in the way that they need to do that because they need to show off that Pete Dunne is unbeatable. If he hits you with that, it's like the RKO. It's over. That's it.
I will give you the RKO.
That's the reason why they build the bitter end up the way that it is. F5, over. That's the way that it is. Unless you're building a guy that will kick out of once of the F5 or like Roman Reigns 8 times.
Nia Jax's Samoan drop?
All of it.
Not over.
Not over. Protected finishers 101 is Pete Dunne's bitter end is one of the most protected finishers
John Cena's FU or attitude adjustment, if you will. Yes, okay, I get you.
They don't want him to lose the belt, so therefore the reason to keep him as big as he is break the guy's fingers, give him the bitter end, and it's over. And it's that's the way Pete Dunne's always finished. Josh gets to not only kick out of the bitter end, but he also gets to sit there on his knees, ripping off his head guard and throwing it at Pete Dunne at the hardest that I've ever seen in my entire life. Anybody throw something at another human being. I thought he broke Pete Dunne's jaw from the way he literally hit him in the face with this defiant Josh Alexander that you cannot beat me and I will not be beat. And he just gets up and they go back at it again. And then Josh hits him with his finish, and it's over. And it's just this beautiful story that they told at the end of Josh. As much as people thought that he was a badass before, Pete really went out of his way to make Josh Alexander a badass out of the most badass of fashion.
Well, he took the badassery to another level. 100%.
He took his badassery to another level. Of the way that Josh was already a badass, he really took Josh's badassery to another level. So that is who Josh Alexander is. He is a man that is the most badass motherfucker on this planet walking right now, aside from, Pete Dunne and a very select few of badass motherfuckers that are walking around the circuit right now.
I put Josh in the category of, I want to say, Johnny Impact. I put him in the category of a Seth Rollins. I put him in the category of, if we're going to kick it old school, The Rock, Stone Cold. And again, we're not saying this to kiss his ass. We're saying this because we've seen it.
And really want everybody to get, like, what we've seen. Like, this is really, like, a thing of, like, no, he is really going to be, like, for those who are a little bit skeptic of what he's going to do. My favorite was, if you need any more piece of evidence, just go back and look at any of his posts from the day before. And the very first one is literally just a post of him saying, the hard work is done, or the hard work is literally just beginning. It's just starting. So whatever he gets it,